Hey, this is John. I want to thank you again so much for getting your copy of Magnoon. I cannot wait to get actually. I know you're going to love it, and it's going to change freaking life. It's going to be awesome. Now, the cool thing is you're getting like a physical copy of this book for literally less than it actually costs me to send it to you, which is super awesome. But the only thing with that is this has to go to the mail, and then depending on where you live, you know, it might take a little bit of time to get to wherever you live, wherever the mail, however fast the mail gets to your house. And so, like, I don't want to leave you hanging, I don't want to leave you on the hook, and I want to get you started training and understanding what's in here and applying what's in here immediately and really quickly. And so what I decided to do is actually go, and I want to share with you guys the top 3 core secret assets that you can use to grow your wealth in any economy, in any industry, no matter where you're starting, no matter where you come from. These 3 core assets accumulate around 95% of the wealth that I create through investing in assets. And it all kind of comes down to these 3 core assets. So that's what I really want to start you off with today, because I know that this training is so valuable, and it'll also help you get right into the weekly implementation Become a Millionaire program, which is super exciting, and I cannot wait to share that with you. But the core is that you go through this training first. There's going to be information, there's going to be links to set up your account for all of the programs. You're going to have to set up your account to actually get access to all the bonuses, and get access to the implementation program, and any of the products you might have purchased. So it's really critical, obviously, that you do set up your account, and all that information is down below, and that's going to give you access to all the other products that come alongside the book, and all the other trainings and the courses, and like I said, the implementation program, which is what I'm super excited about. And I'm going to explain to you why as we sort of detail these 3 core assets together. So if that sounds cool, give me a woo, give me a yeah, let's make it happen. I'm really excited to share this with you. So with that said, let's get down to the 3 core assets. Now what's interesting is these 3 core assets literally can scale and scale. Like my goal with when I'm sharing an asset with you is not to just like start, you know, say we have like our chart here, right? This is a little bit of money, this is a lot of money, right? And you kind of have like different assets along this graph, right? And say, you know, you start out small. A lot of people start out small. And, you know, I have my brother. He's the most fun person. I love him. He invests. I don't know if you call it investing. Some people I know do this a whole lot. They make a lot of money. He buys like tennis shoes online, and then he tries to flip them and make more money on those tennis shoes by selling them to somebody else who'll pay more money for them. So that's an example of like, you know, you want to look like time commitment, right? If you look at time along this axis, like this is maybe like a week of time commitment. And as you expand, this is maybe more like a decade, right, of time commitment. And as you go further and further into the future, the expectation is that the amount of value you receive will increase significantly. Sometimes it increases linearly. With other kinds of assets, you can look at your investments and you can understand, okay, you guys probably know this concept, and if not, you're going to learn it really quickly in 9 minutes. So again, you start out small, and then it grows, it goes a whole lot in the end. And you'll notice that a vast majority of the actual growth comes in a, you know, not a majority of the time. That's a very, you know, short amount of time compared to the rest of the curve. You'll see this with tons of investment, and there are very amazing ways to do this with assets. But my goal right now, as I share with you these 3 core assets, is to show you ways not only that make you significant amounts of money, that make you the most money possible, but also in ways that you can achieve that if you want to put in the work, if you want to put in the effort, if you want to put in the motivation, if you have the talent, you have the drive. I want to show you a way that you can get here to this, you know, level of success. This level of success depends on everyone, right? Some of you guys have to think for a rich course. You'll understand how to actually create those overarching long-term goals, and you'll understand like how to actually figure out what this amount of money is. You'll figure out how to understand what is the amount of money you desire. And for some people, that's going to be billions of dollars. Some people, it's going to be hundreds of millions of dollars. Some people, it's going to be millions of dollars. It really just depends on what I like to call your set point of wealth. Now, your set point is this concept that came from health. It came from studying the human body and studying weight loss. And what some scientists found, which is really interesting, is that the body kind of has this scale that it goes on. And this scale, it applies to every single aspect of the body. It's not just weight, it's not just muscle. And basically what I found is there's this extreme over here, and this is extremely high, right? And this is extreme down here, right? And this is extremely low. And I'm going to give you this as an example for weight, just because it's a lot easier to emphasize. So say like somebody, you know, maybe like 5'6", 5'7", something like that, and you have this set point in the middle of your extremes, right? And so for some people, this set point, maybe we'll call, say, 150 pounds, right? And then this idea that if you go up or if you go down, maybe to an under extreme would be like 130 pounds, and maybe an over extreme would be like 170 pounds, right? And this idea that scientists came up with and that they prove is that the body will naturally come back to its set point. The body, even if you gain a touch of weight, or if you eat a bunch of candy, you probably know a couple of people, at least I do, they're like super active, and no matter how much junk food they eat, no matter how much they try to gain weight, they keep coming back to this set point. I have a bunch of friends that were trying to get on a football team, and they kept eating McDonald's for literally months and months. And no matter what they did, they were trashing their bodies, but they couldn't actually increase their weight because they kept coming back to this set point. Similarly, I have a lot of friends, I think they're overweight, if they feel self-conscious about their image or their body or whatever. And so they try to not eat anything or be really insanely athletic. I have people that literally run upwards of 80 miles a week cross country. I mean, they're insane. And they'll do so much to try to lose weight, but they'll keep on coming back to their set point until they make a shift. And that shift usually comes in the form of, for gaining weight, you have to move your set point. So you have to get rid of this old set point and increase it by working out, by going to the gym, by building up muscle that's going to actually increase your body. So your body wants to be at this higher level because it's naturally going to tend that way. Similarly, if they want to lose weight, they need to not just try to quickly push away from this set point. You have to actually change. If you want to get a different result, and say you're down here, right? If you want to go from here to here, if you want to change your result, then what you have to do is very simple. You have to change your actions. Now, I remember when I was around, I had no clue about investing. I had no clue about assets. I did not understand any of these 3 core assets you're about to learn about. I didn't even know they existed. And so all I had coming in for income was a wage. All I had was, I was trapped under others. I was trapped working for others. I was trapped not doing my own thing, but instead living the destiny, living the purpose, and living the meaning of someone else's life, having no inherent value created in anything that I did. And because of that, the amount of income I created was very low. And over time, it did not increase at all. All it did was it stayed flat. And you know that if you're staying flat, or if maybe this was my set point, and this is not where I wanted to be in life, this is not the amount of wealth that I want to achieve, it's not the amount of achievement, significance, importance, world development that I wanted. And I had to do, you have to look at your set point. You have to ask yourself very simply, what can you do to change your set point? What can you do to increase your set point? And as soon as you do that, it changes everything. I have friends, they started out very low here, and within a couple of years, they're doing a 1,000-pound club. Similarly, at universities to come on board, new students, they start very low here, and in a couple of years, making 6, 7 figures. They're absolutely crushing it because they changed their set point. And so my goal with these 3 core assets is that I want you to use them as tools to change your set point of wealth, tools to change where your money mindset is. So for some people, instead of pounds here, why don't we change this over to figures that you can maybe more accurately represent with. So maybe this is say 150,000, right? And then for some of you guys, maybe your high-end goals are 1.7 million, right? And so I'll put 1.7 million. And then maybe on the low-end goals, you're making 13,000. Now, these are very different places. Some of you guys might be a lot lower, some of you guys might be a lot higher, some of you guys might be just through the roof crushing, some of you guys might be in the ground. And that's okay, because where you are right now is only a temporary state. You can change anything, and you guys are going to learn this in week 2, actually, the implementation coaching program. This is mindset shift that is so massive. I don't kind of go into it now, but you're going to get into that in week 2, which is really week 2 and week 3. I think week 3 is the big one where you go through the mindset body. I mean, this is so powerful. You can change the capacity, change you can achieve, and it's some of the most successful people on this planet. I'm very heavily inspired by Elon Musk. He came from almost nothing. His parents were on the verge of bankruptcy. They were abandoning an old country to come to live in the States, trying to find a new life. And what they did is they totally shifted their set point by introducing themselves to a new environment, an environment filled with capitalism, an environment filled with assets, an environment filled with new opportunities. They changed their actions by totally eradicating the past that they had in their history in their old country. They came to this new place where they could achieve so much more. And he went on to do what? Co-found PayPal, get my $100 million, invest all of that into his future businesses. It's very inspirational stuff. And everything comes from a set point. See, when he had hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank, Elon didn't think oh, I guess I'm good. No, because for him, he'd been working for decades to prove his set point, to increase his capacity, to increase what he believed in as a reality, to increase what he saw as an opportunity. And because of that, his set point was not at hundreds of millions, it was at billions. And so he took that, and what did he do? He invested in one of the 3 core assets we're about to talk about, which is a business asset. And he absolutely crushed it. Created game-changing space companies, game-changing car companies. Why? Because for him, the set point was not hundreds of millions, the set point was billions. And so my challenge for you as we go into these 3 core assets, I want you to ask yourself right now, what is your set point? What is that number that your bank account is at, where every single time you get to that number, you're like, oh, I'm so excited, but you can never really manage to get over that number. Or maybe, your bank account sits at this number, and every time you get a little bit below, you always have your cash come back. You always kind of have your bank account come back. So it'll go up, it'll go down, it'll go up, it'll go down, but everything kind of centers around one set point, in this case in dollars or currency or whatever, right? I want you to think about that and understand how you can increase your set point. Understand where you would like that set point to be, where would you like that income to be, where would you like the growth to be, where would you like your retirement accounts to be, your savings account, where do you want your future to be? And then I want you to think about how you can actually leverage these 3 core assets to get there. Now I'm not asking you to master these, I'm not asking you to make a life plan right now today. By no means do I expect that at all. It took me literally years to master this stuff. And hopefully I'm really hoping that through the implementation program, I can share with you the methods, I can share with you the secrets, I can share with you the strategies to master it yourself in significantly less time. And you'll get a lot more information on that once you set up your account and once you get into the implementation coaching program, once you get into the members area. But the core here, we're starting off with 3 core assets, and you want to make sure that you're using them the right way. You're using them to get to that set point. You want to be using them to get to this high level of wealth by setting yourself up to succeed. And so, you don't have to fully understand everything yet, because we're going to teach you a whole lot more about this. It's not a big deal. But the core right now is to understand where you are right now, and then picture where you want to be in the future. It's very simple, pragmatic thing to do, but it's something that I literally didn't do for probably about a decade of my life. And because of that, I had no purpose, I had no focus, and most importantly, there was no growth, no income, nothing. The investments were not performing because I wasn't performing. And so I want you to think about it from that perspective. As you go into these 3 core assets, understand where you are, and most significantly, think about how you can use these tools. You don't have to know how you can use these tools, but just think about how you can use these assets to actually create real savings and retirement. So with that said, let's get into the first core asset, which is, of course, the one, the only, stocks, equities, you name it. This is the goal right here. This is what almost everyone I know, when I talk about investing, talk about building wealth or trading or any kind of active money management, or really any kind of money management, any investing, any wealth management. The number one thing that everyone always instantly thinks of are stocks. It's really the same thing. For a long time, I didn't actually know what the hell, I didn't understand what stocks were. Maybe you're further ahead than when I started, which was a very long time ago. But I was like, Wall Street must be this mystical fairyland of non-existent pixie dust. And they're just magic guys, and they're in these buildings, and they're all by themselves, and they're just making tons of money. And basically, in the basements of these buildings, they just have printing presses printing out money every single day, which is not particularly true. At least in most scenarios, there's actually a little more intricacies to it. What's really cool about stocks is you have sort of different aspects, you have different elements you can use in financial markets. These are part of overarching financial markets, right? Financial market literally changed my life. They're total and complete game changer, because what they do is they open up the door to growth. They open up the door to cash that most people just sit down through and ignore, which is awful. To think that half of Americans in the most well-adapted country on this planet to actually invest in stocks, actually invest in the market, don't recently half of Americans don't own stocks. It's insane. And not everybody should have the same investment. Not everybody should have the same vehicles, and that's totally okay. It doesn't make sense maybe for everybody to be in indices, or it doesn't make sense for everyone to be in individual stock. That's okay. But you should make informed investment decisions, because you guys are going to see this. You're going to learn something in the implementation program. This is the key. This is where so much growth comes from. That's why I want to get into it, because there's 3 sort of core underlying parts of stocks, right? And the first part is pretty basic, right? This is what most people focus on. This is what most people know about. This is what most people think of when they think about investing in stocks. It's long-term investing. You invest in hundreds, thousands of companies, so many companies. and you're investing in the long term, right? So your bet is like what we talked about earlier. You're going to have growth over time, growth over time, growth over time. And if you know about the insane power of compound interest, you can be the worst investor on the planet and invest at the peak of the Great Depression in 1929. And within, about 40 years later, which is a pretty significant amount of time, you're still going to about 10x, 20x your investment. It doesn't matter how bad you are, because the market, historically, might go up, might go down, might go up, might go down, might go up, might go down, might go up, might go down. But in the long term, it's always a long-term trend up. But if you just invest in like all the stocks that exist, or at least some of the major indices, which you guys learn about now. And so this is like really the basic stuff right here. We're looking at like single-digit returns, but high single-digit returns, right? Stuff around the bouts of 9% per year on average, right? This is where a lot of people look at it and they say, wow, okay, I go to a compound interest calculator and I can plug in 9% a year and I make, however much a year, maybe I want to invest, 10,000 a year. Wow, that's a lot, I can make that happen, okay. Invest that, and all of a sudden in a couple of decades, multi-millionaire. And for a lot of people, and my parents, my grandparents, that was the path they took. That is a very, very effective way to grow your wealth. And it works in almost all of recorded time. And by almost all of recorded time, I mean the entire history of American financial markets. And that's what I want to stress here. It's the word American. You see, the difficulties for the challenges for a lot of like international investors are twofold, okay? And that's why you're in such a fortunate position to actually be able to invest long-term in stocks and equities and financial markets. You got bonds in here, right? Very, very, fundamental ways to sort of diversify, which is totally cool. Overarching here, this is all we call paper assets, right? And you'll learn about that in the book, which is super cool. But the core here is, in a lot of places in the world, now my drawing of the planet is really, really good. So you've got like the United States here, and you've got Canada, you've got sort of like, Southern America, South America. And then over here, right, you've got Europe, and I'm not going to draw this big enough because it's going to get cut off. But you've got like Iceland, you've got, all the rest of the world over here, Germany, Italy, Africa, South America, Australia kind of over here. You've got this whole other portion of the world that's not the United States. And for everybody else, it is so much more difficult to actually invest in American markets. Now, you guys are going to learn, I'm pretty sure, chapter 35 and 9 to noon, about how American markets literally outperform almost every single financial market on this planet, and it's one of the strongest markets in existence. And what's crazy is there are literally billions of people on this planet who can't even touch this kind of growth. They can't even touch this kind of long-term growth. It does not exist for them. For instance, there are literally billions of people in Africa, billions of people in Europe and Germany, in many of these places, especially in the poor countries. I think there's about 2 billion citizens on this planet who don't have bank accounts. Now let me ask you a question, okay? You guys are going to get into this a little more in the implementation coaching program, but basically, if you want to open up an investment account, if you want to start investing, you go over to Wall Street and you're like, hey, can I open up an account or something? And they're like, okay, well, let's see your information, right? Like, who are you? Fundamentally, can you give us your name? Can you give us your address? Can you give us your social security number? Can you give us your bank account information? And for so many people on this planet, they don't have this. There are 2 billion people on this planet that don't have a bank account. There are literally, probably a vast majority of people on the planet who don't have social security numbers. They don't live in the United States. And so for them, if they don't have this, they don't have any of this. They don't have this growth, they don't have this development, they don't have this long-term investment at all. And so I want you to understand that by being able to actually invest long-term in asset markets and financial markets and equities and paper assets, you're literally already above almost 90% of the planet. And yet half of Americans don't do it. And so that's kind of one of the biggest motivating factors behind all the work that I do. That I put into 9 to noon that you're not going to get, and you'll read is the best thing ever, and also into the back-end weekly Become a Millionaire implementation coaching program, because it's all about leveraging financial markets. These things absolutely changed my life, and what's so cool is that you have access to them, assuming that, hopefully, I'm selling my books to the right people, you've got access to this investment opportunity. You have access to the most powerful financial market the world has ever known, and it's sitting right there super, super, super powerful. Now, what's cool is, 9% is really, really good. You put in $100, you get $9 out. That's pretty freaking insane, because if you keep doing that over and over and over again, soon enough, you double your money. Soon enough, you double your money. Soon enough, you double your money. You put a couple thousand in the market, say about 2,000. It takes about 8 doubles to get to $2 million. So my question for you is, how can you get to 8 doubles? If it takes 8 doubles to get $2 million. It's a lot easier when you frame it like that. Like, if you frame it like, become a millionaire, it's supposed to be the same thing ever, you're gonna change life. Like, that's pretty intense. But what if I just frame it like 8 doubles? If you can double your portfolio 8 times, most often, if you have like any state, like if you start with a grand or two, you're gonna get $2 million. Maybe you start with less, maybe you're starting with a couple $100, okay? Maybe it can take you $9, maybe it can take you $10. Like, here's my challenge for you. Like, figure out what your number is. Figure out what you're starting with. And ask yourself, how many times do I have to double that number to get $2 million? And then that's the very, very simple framework. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to follow to actually get the result that you want. And then if you have higher results, just do the math. All it is math. Now, a lot of people, they get freaked out. They are scared. They're like, oh my gosh, doubles? Are these numbers? I have to know about numbers? Are you serious? What? That's so crazy. Look, guys, trade stocks for really like half a decade now. And I literally never used anything more complicated than 4th grade algebra. It just doesn't happen. Basically, if you have a calculator that can do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, and you can do plus, you can do minus, you can do divided by, you can do multiplied by, you're gonna be good. You're pretty much set. Honestly, this is probably the most difficult level of math I have ever done. I've been able to vastly outperform the marks, absolutely crush them, and be able to teach tons of students to use the exact same methods. Because look, you don't have to overcomplicate stuff. You don't need a PhD in finance to use a little calculator you can get from Walmart. Once you use your computer's calculator or something stupid, use calculator on your freaking phone. You don't need anything more complicated than a 4-function calculator. And all you have to do is figure out how you can use this and combine it with financial markets, combine it with paper assets to get to that end result, to get to those doubles, to get to the goal that you require. It's not impossible. It's not freaking difficult. So that's kind of why I'm excited. There are long-term investments. Long-term investments are really awesome. Like, everybody should have long-term investments, and that is super, super cool. But what's also really interesting about financial markets is, you guys have seen pictures in New York, right? Like you've seen all these really big buildings where they have these big hedge funds. They have, these humongous banks, and they're just everywhere, right? Like, those people, they're sitting in massive office buildings with literally hundreds of floors in some cases, dozens and dozens. Like, they aren't just sitting there investing in long-term investment. Like, when you invest in, say, long-term investment, you invest in the market, like, literally, my parents probably spend about 15 minutes a year managing their long-term investment portfolios. They're literally millions of dollars, and they don't spend any time doing it because you don't have to spend any time doing it whatsoever. So my question for you is, if you've got all these people on Wall Street that are coming together every single day, literally hundreds of thousands, not millions of people, day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. They're coming to Wall Street, they're coming to their computers, they're coming, what's cool is, like, and you're gonna learn more about this, when you start to get into investing, like, you don't have to be at Wall Street, right? This could be in New York, you could be all the way over in California, having a party in Cali, sitting here on your laptop, or your computer, right? And you're like looking at the stocks in here, and you're gonna be instantly linked to one of the most powerful financial markets on the planet. So here's my question for you. If there are so many people all over the planet, like people in different countries even, who actually have access to these markets, who have their own accounts, everyone links through every single day. There are billions and billions and billions, if not trillions of dollars transacted every single day in the market. And I promise you, that's not just people buying an index fund, not just buying a selection or basket of stocks. And you'll learn more about this stuff as you get at 9 to noon. These people are here every single day. I trade every single day because there is so much more opportunity in the market than just passive returns, than just passive investments. And so what's super cool is the next thing we're going to focus on is a very powerful what I call swing trading. Now what's cool is with swing trading, you're looking at trades, these trades might last, they might last a week, right? They might last a month. They might last even a year. Now, I'm very rarely last a year, but they can last I have some trades that can last about a year. And you'll see, if it lasts a week, make much money, if it lasts a month, make much money, if it lasts a year, make much money. It all depends on how you invest. It depends on the strategies that you implement. which you guys are all going to learn in the implementation membership here, the coaching program. Everything comes from sort of the time frames that you decide to use, and then this is when we start to introduce technical analysis. These two words change my freaking life. And it's just so powerful. And so with long-term investments, you're looking mostly at what fundamentals. You're looking mostly at, like, does this company make money? What do they do? Are they going to make money in the next 20 years? Okay, if they are, great, we'll invest in them. And so, some people invest in indices, we invest in indices passively. You're not even looking at the companies, you're just betting that a collection of literally hundreds of stocks, not thousands of stocks, is going to go up over time. That's super cool. But what's cool is with swing trading, you start to get more into individual stocks. And I'm not saying you can't have individual stocks in your long-term portfolio. I have literally portfolios that are long-term. They have about 40, 50, 60 stocks in them. And that's totally cool. That works really well. But unless you're actually going to trade those stocks on a yearly basis, on a monthly basis, or on a weekly basis, those are mostly just going to perform like long-term investments, especially if you're not putting a lot of energy into it. Usually, the easier something is, the less return you're going to get. So, you put in more effort. It doesn't have to be a lot of effort. I can spend maybe an hour on a position and make literally more than most people would make in long-term investments in almost a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks by using swing trade. Or you can make triple your position in a month, and you put in maybe an hour of effort. And so the goal, right, is put in as much little effort as possible to make as much money as possible. So it's interesting. Like with long-term investments, you put in very, very, very little effort, and you get a reasonable return. And over time, it grows and grows and grows. What's cool is, you're not putting in more effort over time. So even though you might get more money, it's still about the same amount of effort. With swing trading, it's a little bit different. So what you do is you put maybe a little bit more effort in the beginning. Not too much. I know a lot of people, they invest maybe an hour a month, 2 hours a month just looking at swing trades. And then they put in this little bit of effort at the beginning. Then they make their trades. And then they put no more effort in until it expires, grows, and grows, and grows, and grows. And you get the same, if not much more. And from my experience, usually it's a lot more. You get a lot more return for just a little bit of upfront effort. Now, if you can make 10, 15, 20 times what most people make in a year in just a couple of months, do you think that's worth a couple of hours of effort? Because for me, it's insanely worth a couple of hours of effort. It works phenomenally well. And so, as we start to get more technical analysis in the implementation program in 9 to noon in the book, you're going to start to understand how to actually use these skills to find really, 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 really phenomenal swing trades in individual stocks. You're going to absolutely crush it. And then over time, you guys are also going to learn how to leverage it. You're going to learn about options, which is super cool. I don't have as much time to go into that today, but you're going to get the entire course on that in the implementation program as you are ready for it. I've structured it very, 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 very systematically because most people, they get in the markets, and at least I know some people that have gotten into markets, and they literally bet their entire life savings. They put $15,000 into an options contract, and then they lose everything, and that is not the goal. The goal is not to lose everything. That is awful. The goal is to figure out what you're doing first, figure out how to actually invest first, and then get really, really phenomenal results. And then only once you can get really, really phenomenal results do you start to go further and further and further and further. And that's what swing trading lets you do. I'd say this is probably the most scalable kind of trading. This is literally what the firms on Wall Street are doing almost every single day. At least the ones who know what the hell they're doing. A lot of firms, they aren't very smart. They're just acting as market makers, and they're making a couple of pennies. They're putting up a lot of effort to make a very little bit of money. And they can do that because they have literally hundreds of billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars to manage. You and me, I don't know about you, but I don't have $1 trillion to manage. And so I would much rather get a return of 400% than a return of 0.8%, even if I had to put a little bit more risk up front, because you have an advantage over the big firms on Wall Street. You have an advantage over the people with trillions of dollars because they can't actually buy most of the investments that you're going to learn about in the 9-week implementation program, in the coaching program, and in the book. They can't actually trade what we're going to call pre-market games, what we're going to call 9 to noon stocks. They can't really trade them because if they got in, they would shift the price so much just by the inherent amount of hundreds of millions of dollars they poured into any one single investment. And so what it does is it limits these guys on Wall Street. So like in this cage or in this box, and they are forced almost because of the volume requirements that they need to invest to trade like these really, really, really big, stuff like blue chip stocks, these really, really big companies that offer low returns at a very, very small amount of effort. And what they do is they put in a ton more effort to get a little tiny return. All right? They make maybe a percentage a day, or maybe they make 0.2%. They just have all this effort, literally people working 8 hours, 10 hours a day, and they get this little tiny return. I don't think that's really great. I don't like that. And I know that if you're starting out with anything less than about $14 million, that's not going to yield you a very high quality investment return. Because most of what people do and most of what people teach about investing in financial markets is taught from the perspective of having millions start investing. It's taught from the perspective of make 9% a year, every single year for the rest of your life, and you'll retire a multi-millionaire. And that's absolutely true. That is golden, that is key, that is crucial. But there's more to it. There's more. Start to enter the realm of swing trading. And so my goal, to share with you and show you how to do, is how to get way more results with way less effort. Like, very rarely, like, honestly, you should not be investing actively for more than 3 hours a day. Just like the more, if you put in more than 3 hours of effort, I've found over and over and over and over, I have students that want to overachieve, they want to do more, they want to be better, they want to invest more, they want to get better returns on their money, and they say, oh, I'll trade for 8 hours today. They lose their ass! Because these guys are here all day, losing money all day. Most of these guys suck. Most of these guys are working in banks. Most of these guys don't actually understand technical analysis. Most of these guys don't actually understand how to effectively make individual stocks. Most of these guys don't actually understand how to really nail swing trading. And they're just working at a bank. They're collecting a paycheck. The difference between me and you, individual investors, and the people that are just working at a bank to collect a paycheck is, you only make money if your investments do well. You only eat what you kill in the market. And these guys, they have a safety net. But all they're trying to do is protect their job. All they're trying to do is stay employed and just keep on making that consistent, 40, 50, 60 grand a year over and over and over again. So for them, if they can just get this much money for their bank, then they'll be happy. What I want to do is I want to increase your set point to make much more and actually be able to take in the results that you create by doing it for yourself so that you get all the income. You're not giving away all the income that you would have made to some bank to hire you. Like, that's not the goal. The goal is to have extraordinarily outperforming investments and then just crush it with those. Like, I see people all the time. They see what I'm doing. They're like, oh, when are you going to open a hedge fund? When are you going to take on investors? Stuff like that. And like, that's cool. Right now, I'm in college, and so you have to have an undergraduate degree. There's a lot of regulation in the financial markets. It's kind of difficult. And I'm like, dude, like, you could just do it for yourself, and you can make more than you could ever even dream of working for others. And so it's really critical that as we get into this, especially as you start to read this in 9 to noon, and you'll get more into this in the implementation coaching program, you understand that, like, this is the scale, this is the growth, this is where you can get 400, 500, 600% gains over the course, like, results not typical. Like, you have to be smart, you have to do your due diligence. But this is really the biggest scale play, because you can invest a lot. Like, I think about it like this, okay? And I'll kind of finish up on this and we'll be done. You look at your time frames and time horizons. You have long-term investments, you have swing trading, and then you have 9 to noon trading, right? And I just want to put this bar right here. This is like volume, right? And so with these guys on Wall Street, they have a lot of money that they want to invest. And so they start out super high, and they can only really invest in long-term assets. They can invest maybe a little bit in swing trades. And when I say really big amount of money, I mean like literally trillions of dollars. That's what I'm talking about here. So it's not like, $100,000. Like, these are like trillions of dollars. And so as it goes down, you go down like this, right? And so with swing trades, like, you have a lot of room to play with here where you can invest. As you start to grow, you start to grow your portfolio. Yeah, I know tons of clients that have to literally put like 8 figures, 9 figures in a swing trade, and they absolutely crush it. Why? They crush it because these are extremely scalable investments. And so as you start to get to higher and higher numbers, I know right now your set point might be a little bit lower. Your set point might be at 4 figures, your set point might be at 5 figures. But think about it in the future, how high your set point can really go. These swing trades are going to be the key to actually getting those really big, huge returns on huge amounts of money. Now, they're not going to be as fast usually as 9 to noon trades, but it's going to be a lot more scalable. And so that's, I think, a great segue to bring us into sort of my favorite thing to do, which is, of course, the only 9 to noon investment. This is like, dreamland. And it's cool because it implements swing trading into it. If you guys are going to get the book very soon, it's very exciting, and you're going to notice in the 9 to noon workday, like, I only work maybe an hour or 2 hours. Most people, like, pretty much everybody I know, like it's actually crushing it. They only work like an hour or 2 hours, like actually trading the 9 new stocks. And after that, it's really just like planning out a really smart swing trade that are going to do significantly better than any kind of long-term investment that aren't going to get affected. See, the cool thing with swing trading is if the market's really high or everybody's really scared that like the market's going to crash, like you're only trading a couple of very, very select individual stocks. And you're trying to, well, what you're doing is you're selecting a small portion of the marketplace of stocks that's going to actually lead to a majority of the returns you could possibly get. So you might invest maybe only a couple of stocks and get huge returns. I recommend you start off a little bit more just for diversification. You learn about that in chapter 35, the diversification chapter. But you maybe aren't investing thousands of stocks. Instead, you're only investing a couple dozen stocks, and you're actually getting like 10 times the performance because you're leveraging the skills that you're going to learn 9 to noon, the skills you're learning in the implementation coaching program. You're leveraging the power of technical analysis, total freaking game changer, and you're actually getting phenomenal at it by actually investing, by actually doing it, by actually learning, which is super, super cool. So, now that you have that done, now you have individual stocks. Like I said, swing trading is super fun. You're going to read about it in 9 News. The first chapter, it details pretty much the exact, dream, ideal 9 News trade day. It's phenomenal. You'll notice that swing trading is a pretty solid chunk of that because a lot of money, most of the people I know, they make a lot of money from swing trades. It's a great, great way to scale up those investments. So, with that said, now we're going to get into the third aspect, which is intraday. Intraday 9 to noon investing, right? Intraday 9 to noon stocks, right? You're not really, everything I've been talking about so far and everything that you're pretty much going to learn, it's pretty much applied to stocks, pretty much applied to equities. Bonds are phenomenal, you're going to learn about them in the book. It's going to be a little bit about the implementation program, but really, those are mostly well-defined in the book. It's mostly, you start to approach that retirement date, you start to approach that retirement goal, you start to approach that deadline, that goal that you have, or maybe you have billions of dollars in the bank. That's kind of when we start to approach bonds. Is a really, really, really powerful financial asset. The key, though, especially with 9 to noon investing, are stocks and equities, which are basically just stocks, and options, which you will learn about. There's a whole master class you're going to get on options in the 9 to noon implementation coaching program, which is really exciting. But a little bit delayed because you have to understand stocks before you really get into what most people see as the most insanely powerful, scalable investment vehicle on the planet, which is, of course, options. I love them. They're amazing. They make me so much money. But you got to understand what the hell you're doing first, and that's going to get you the result you want. So here's our sort of last aspect: is intraday 9 to noon trading. This is the most fun part. For me, and for pretty much everybody I know, after people I know, they start investing, start trading for maybe about a month, maybe a month and a half, 2 months tops. They're just hooked on this stuff. They're oh my gosh, trading stocks is the most fun thing ever, and I can't believe how cool this is. Basically, what you're doing is very, very, very simply. You're finding the top stocks in the market every single trading morning, right? It's not just random giant companies. You're looking for stocks that are up, 80%. You're looking for stocks that are up 110%. You're looking for stocks that are absolutely crushing it and that are at the top of the market for the given day, right? And you want to see this stuff from all the way up to 500%, right? You're looking for the really, 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 really high volume, high gain, high momentum, high volatility, high growth stocks for every single day. And you'll learn exactly how to find these investments in the book in 9 to noon. It's on the chapter experience, which is super exciting. There you get so much more training how to actually find these stocks in the implementation coaching program. Basically, the core though is you're looking for the top gaining stocks. And then what's really cool is you don't have to trade these guys for a week. You don't have to trade them for a month. You don't have to trade them for a year. All you have to do is trade them. Usually, my average trade is about 10, maybe 15 minutes. And so you'll have these stocks, and maybe say this is, I'm going to call this the 9:30 opening bell, right? And we'll call this noon, right? And you guys are going to learn so much about this in 9 to noon because this is the dream right here. This is the goal. This is the most fun thing on the planet. Basically, maybe say that this is Thursday, right? And we'll say this is Friday. Friday's the coolest. And it goes up and 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 up from $2, right? We'll call it $2, but I really want you to think about a price range here. About 20 cents to about $25. Usually these are pretty extreme. Usually you're looking at about $1 to about $20. It just kind of depends, but really this is sort of the key, is you're looking for these very, very, very few number of stocks that are, very, very high volume, high percent gain, and of course they're within your price range, right? Like you don't want to be trading a $10,000 stock that's up. Usually they just don't move as quickly as 90 stocks. Like I've never seen a $40 stock or an $80 stock go up 500% a day. But usually right here from about $1 to $20, 20 cents to $25, that's sort of what I like to call the sweet spot, right? And you get some of the best returns possible, some of the least risk possible, and it's just a dream, right? So stocks go up, up. They go from like $2 to, we'll call it, $4 pre-market, right? And then they come up for the day, and you're gonna learn about so many things. Like I can't even begin to tell you how much you're gonna learn about new, because oh my gosh, like for those of you who don't know, that book, like the book is literally like years and years and years and years of my life, like figuring out. Some of you guys who don't know, like I went through literally, I think it was almost 100 of technical analysis, pattern technical indicators, setups, patterns. And literally lost like so much money, almost like over 6 figures. Like it's stuff that just does not work. And see what most people do is the market opens right here, and this is where they freak out. This is where they get in really, really quick, and then it drops a whole bunch. This is where they sell, and then it goes up a whole bunch. And most people, when they get to this point, this is the most critical point on the planet, they don't actually know what to do. And I was there for a very long time. And for me, like there was nobody out there actually teaching this stuff. There's nobody out there really showing how to actually do it. And so what I do is basically like, with these investments, you've got about a 50-50 shot. So I would make these 50-50 shots over and over and over again without actually knowing what I was doing at all. And so half the time I lose money, half the time I make money, and then I lose money and make money, I lose money and make money, and lose money. So I actually started to figure out a couple of indicators, right? So I started to figure out a couple of setups. So I started to figure out a couple of really, really, really high probability trades that allow you to win 60, 70, 80% of the time. And when you win 5, 4, 3, 6 times more than you actually risk. So instead of it being just a guess and you're playing a lottery, you don't know what you're doing, you actually have insane, insightful capacity. So you know what's going to happen, you understand what's going to happen. And I'm going to draw a quick VWAP. You guys have learned about VWAP, and I knew it's one of my favorite things on the planet. I love it, it's making so much money. And stock breaks with the VWAP, right here, you get in, off this pattern, off this end, you take this, out of here, bam, here's your price target, goes right here, buy at 4, sell at 6. You make more in literally probably 22 minutes than most people make in, I don't know, that's a 50% gain. I would say most people would make that in approximately 5 years, maybe 6 years of investing. And it's all right there in a day. And that's really the power of non-new investing. You learn so much more about it. I can't even express how game-changing this was for me. When I understood this information, I realized that you can make more trading non-new than you can make in really years of traditional investing. And it all kind of comes down to finding stocks that are really going to be outstanding, and then following incentives, following the indicators, following patterns, which again, you're going to learn all about in the implementation coaching program. Figure out exactly what it works. There's like 12 really, really critical key patterns that I've narrowed down from the hundreds I've tried. They're all in the book. You're getting everything in the book, which is super exciting. You're getting everything in 90 noon. And it's all right there, plain. Like this is how you do it. Which is just like, oh, it's so exciting because like these things, like it may not look like it, but it's literally like thousands of investments that have led me to actually uncover what the heck actually works. And I mean, you're gonna get all of that in the implementation coaching group, which is just like, oh, so exciting. Because once you understand, once you can master this, once you turn it into knowledge you can apply, all of a sudden, what happens? This becomes one of the easiest, like this is a double, almost half a double. This is one of the easiest ways to get to those 8 doubles. It's one of the easiest ways to get that result. And to become, of course, a millionaire, which is like, oh, it's so huge and it's so critical. And I just look at stocks all day. It's like my favorite thing on the planet. And it's because, like, if you're investing in a vehicle that allows you to make, like, I want you to understand, like, this is honestly berserk. I showed this some of the professors here, some of the financial modelers, some of the people who do like hedge funds, and I'm telling them, they ask me like, oh, how's your portfolio doing? And I'm like, I'm up 88% this week. And they're like, oh, you're up 88 bucks. I'm like, no, 88%. Like 88 bucks, like 88%. And then they look at me in the eyes, and they think I'm absolutely nuts because nobody knows how to do this. And because nobody knows how to do it, no one does it. Except the very, very, very select uber wealthy Americans who actually understand how to leverage the 9 workday. Now, I know some of you guys might be in school, some of you guys might be in a job, some of you guys might have a career or something, and maybe you aren't physically available to trade 9 to noon. And for you, I say that's okay. You can still do everything else that we teach in the implementation coach program. You still build, we've got 2 other core assets to go through still. And so it's not like you don't have to be there at the opening bell. But what I want to tell you is, like, I was in the same position for a very, very long time. And I'm going to share with you guys in just a moment the second core asset, which is crypto. I have used this all crypto, and it's very, very different because it's traded on a 24-hour, constantly volatile exchange, which is really powerful. But I want you to say that, like, once you master the information in 9 to noon, and once you're able to actually make the trades from 9 to noon, like, you can apply this in any time period. You can apply this in any place. So instead of it just being 9 to noon, this is what makes us in trading. This is what makes us crypto trading. So it makes up under investing. It all comes down to the core strategies that are used every single day to have these insane gains. So that you get to a point where you can, like, say, look, I'm going to dedicate 2 or 3 hours a day to do more than most people could do in a year. I remember when I first started investing, 9 to noon investing, I mean, we were 2 weeks. And I made the entire empire. Freaking changed my life. And we realized that I can do anything possible to have access to financial markets. Now, I'm not saying that's going to come instantly, because it's not typical. That's a lot of work, a lot of effort. Once you understand the information that's in here, once you understand what's 9 to noon, once you go through the implementation coach program, once you go through the weekly trainings, unless you somehow lose your entire knowledge, your entire mind, and you lose everything that you understand in your head, and you become a total dull nut, there is no chance financial future could ever be the same. Because once you understand what I have to teach you, you're going to see financial markets in a way that no one else freaking sees it. You're going to look at investment returns at a completely and ridiculously skewed set point. So instead of thinking about how you get 2, 3, 4, 5% a year, you're thinking about how much you can make in the next month to double your portfolio. It's going to totally shift your set point, and it's just a freaking game changer. So with that said, I am so excited because this is the core. This is the thing that gets me up every single morning, pumped, excited, ready to go. And I would not miss a trade day. It's my favorite thing on the planet, and I just cannot wait to share with you because I don't care how much you liked it at the beginning. Like, this can make you so much money that you can literally, if you hate it, if this is like the worst thing ever for you, and you spend only 2, maybe 3 hours a day doing it, like, how do you think that's going to lead to in the future? I think the results are going to come from that. And when you can literally spend your entire rest of the day, every other moment you have, every other aspect of your life, all the other time you have, you can go to literally anything that you want, and all you have to do is one simple thing: is master the simple art, technical analysis, simple art trading. So with that said, this is like, it's what gets me so excited. That's what our first core asset, like stocks, equities, financial markets, paper assets. These are what most people think of. Most people, if they look at this, they look at it on a surface level without actually understanding what makes it work. And so what's awesome is you guys have reserved your copy of 9 to noon, and it's coming in the mail. And so now you're going to really, really, really be able to dive deep and understand exactly what you need to do, exactly like what uber successful wealthy Americans do to actually create insane amounts of wealth by following what works. And I just wish this information was more out there because there's just so few people that really share this, and it's so hard. Most investors are literally, they don't even know it, but they're suffering from mediocre returns. They're suffering from awful investment principles that in reality are crushing their opportunity to create massive levels of wealth because they don't understand what actually makes a stock move, what actually makes a phenomenal trade they can create maybe in a week, but most people could do in about a year, which is really just a freaking game changer. And hopefully, my goal is not just to preach this to you all day, because I know that's not as effective that's just not effective. My goal with the implementation program, with the book, is to get you this result. Like, my number one objective is to get like a phenomenal, super excited, super pumped up testimonial from you in the next month or two that says, oh my gosh, you changed my life, financial markets are awesome, I made all this money, it's the coolest thing ever. Like, that's my objective. It's not just to like be like, this is all the money, it's the coolest thing ever. Like I want you to get the result. So anyway, that's the first core asset. That's the first, it's just the core for building wealth. And for almost everybody I know, that is the first asset that I recommend you learn, you understand. Because that asset alone, I mean, that's probably a bulk. That's a bulk of my income right now. And the reason why is because it just works so insanely well. Financial markets have been around for decades, hundreds of years, centuries. The reason why is they freaking work! They were designed and destined to create insane amounts of wealth for literally millions and millions and millions and millions of people, if not billions of people. Like I talked about earlier, you're in a very, very, very lucky select of people who actually have access to financial markets. Like, the fact that you're here is a testament. It shows like you can do this, you can achieve this, because it really is not that much. All you have to do is have a simple process. All you have to do is have a system to follow. All you have to do is have some guidelines and maybe like some sort of curriculum, guideline. And as soon as you have that, I mean, it's all right there to take. It's 100 times easier. Remember when I was starting out, like I didn't have any of these three things, and so for me, it was really, it's just insanely tough. But you don't have to go through all that struggle. You don't have to go through all that time. You don't have to go through all that wasted money. You don't have to go through all that crap. Instead, you can just get right to a course. You can get right to the process. You can get right to the system. You can get right to the guidelines. And so that's sort of exactly what I've done, laying out 9 to noon, and then laying out to become a millionaire weekly implementation coaching program, which is just like so exciting. So with that said, we're going to transition now into the second core asset, second secret asset. That honestly, like all these are so many things. You can start off with as little as you want, as much as you want. Like it's so powerful. It's open to any kind of investing whatsoever. Just the barriers to entry over time have gone down and down and down and down and down to almost nothing for every single one of these three core assets. So with that said, second core asset, a lot of you guys I know are probably super passionate. A lot of you guys might not know too much about. I know a lot of friends, they got into investing in financial markets. They got into investing in stocks because of cryptocurrencies. I mean, cryptocurrencies is freaking awesome, first of all. The technology is absolutely phenomenal. But what we're looking at here is investing in cryptocurrencies. It's an asset, right? It's an investment. Stuff is phenomenal. So you've sort of got, just like with investing in equities, investing in financial markets, investing in stocks, you've got sort of different sides to the equation. There's like the investment side, and there's the long-term investment side, there's the short-term investments, and then there's swing trades. Now the difference with crypto and with the stock market opens every single day at 9:30, right? Like right 9:30, and there's a ton of volume. A lot of people buying stocks until about noon, and then at noon everything kind of tapers off, right? And the volume goes down and down, and it gets to the point where it's only people that are like working in banks or something that are actually trading stocks at the end of the day. And that works out really well for not even trading. It's just phenomenal, right? But cryptocurrencies, the thing with these is they are, they're currencies, right? And so because they're currencies, these are traded on 24-hour, constantly volatile exchanges. And since these exchanges have to constantly be open to international trade, you've always got somebody there buying, somebody there selling for 24 hours a day. And so there's no like opening bell, there's no after hours, there's no market open, there's no market close. So with this, like there's much less of this like intraday trading, just because it's always open, right? So there's no set time period where you can just invest and be like, this is where everybody's going to be trading, this is where all the volume's going to be, this is where all the growth is going to be, and this is where you're going to make most of your money, like you can with 9 to noon investing. So it's a little bit of a different game. Now what's awesome about that is that if you have any kind of career, any kind of occupation, any kind of, like literally any activity that prevents you from trading 9 to noon, like for me, like I was growing up, I was in high school from 9 to noon, so it was really, I couldn't trade, right? So instead, I was trading cryptocurrency. You can trade these at any time of the day, and usually these investments, if you want to make super short-term investments, instead of being like 30-minute trades, they're going to be more around about, at least from experience, trading literally thousands of cryptocurrencies. We're looking about like an 8-hour trade, right? 8 hours per trade. And so that gives you time to maybe, at least with the active investments that you guys are going to learn about in the implementation program, if you're looking at 8-hour trades, like you can go to lunch, you can, go come from work or whatever, from school or anything you're doing, and you still have plenty of time to actually look at your investments and keep track of it, right? Make sure everything's still going well. And so because you have so much more time, at least on like extremely, like this is like active 8 hours, right? Because you have a lot more time, these financial markets, I mean, literally all I'm talking about here, right, is a different financial market. So over here, you've got like Wall Street, right? You've got, stocks, basically. You got stocks, right? And stocks are phenomenal. Like, these are the best things ever. I love them. But then you have cryptocurrencies, right? And these are, I just want you to think about these as a different kind of asset. So over here, you have asset number 1, and over here, you have asset number 2. And really, the biggest thing I want you to think about is the difference between these two. Is that these assets are traded on like centralized exchanges. They're traded on centralized platforms, right? I mean, their stocks are traded sort of like within the financial markets of America. And with asset 2, with the cryptocurrencies, like these are traded across the globe. So I'll do my little globe drawing again. You can kind of see you got like South America, Canada, and these are traded everywhere. Europe, Iceland, Africa, Germany, Italy, not Italy, Italy's not a country. You got like Australia. You got the entire rest of the world here. Asia, everywhere you can desire to be, like the whole world is constantly trading cryptocurrencies, and it's not just limited to domestic America. And so it's basically just this completely separate financial market. So that's what I'm putting here. I'll put these. They're their own financial market. And you can see there are literally trillions of dollars transacted in this market every single day, just like there are trillions of dollars transacted in the Forex markets, right? So we're not really going to focus much on Forex, and the reason why is the same reason we're not going to focus much on real estate. Like these are two assets. A lot of people, they think about investing, they think about trading, they think about things that they can invest long term in, and they think about real estate, they think about like Forex trading, and like those are awesome, right? Like that's great. But the thing is with real estate, like first of all, you have to be like 20 or some crap, like actually go and get houses. And second of all, like that's a lot of work. Like if I want to buy cryptocurrency, I pull up my laptop and I click the buy button. It takes me like 15 seconds. It might take me about 40 minutes to analyze maybe 10 or 20 currencies and figure out which one's best to invest in. Same thing with stocks. If I want to trade stocks and I want to make 10%, I pull up my laptop at about 9 o'clock in the morning, I go to my desktop at 9 o'clock in the morning, and look at pre-market gainers, I make a trade or 2 or 3 or 4, and I make about 10%. Like you make whatever you want. You crush it. And it's phenomenally easy. It's like I don't have to travel anywhere. I don't have to get on a plane to go anywhere. And what's interesting is look at some of the most successful real estate investors on the planet. You have people like Greg Cardone, huge inspiration. I love him. He's making $500 million right now, maybe $1 billion later. Like you've got a much lower cap, it's much less scalable. Guys literally fly on a plane every single day to go to some new investment property, make some new investment. And sure, you double your money there, you make 10% there. Most investment properties, what are they doing? They're doing what, 10, 15% a year? And it's a lot of freaking work to do that. You gotta deal with keeping, you gotta deal with management, you gotta deal with buildings, you gotta deal with assets, you gotta deal with depreciation, you gotta deal with insurance, you gotta deal with tax. It's a lot of work to do. With financial assets, financial markets, you just pull up your laptop, click the button. And if you look at some of the most successful asset managers on this planet, you look at the Ray Dalio's, you look at the really, really, really killer asset manager, they're making literally billions, if not trillions of dollars every single year for their clients and themselves. So you have a much higher amount of growth you can achieve, because if you want to buy 10 houses, you're going to have to freaking go to 10 houses. That's a lot of freaking work. If you want to buy 10 times more stocks, all you have to do is add a 0 to your order and you're buying 10 times more stocks. Bam, you're crushing it. It's easy. Similarly, we get into Forex investments. Like Forex, 9 stocks, they move 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100% a day. With your swing trading, you should be able to make a couple hundred percentage points once you get really, really, really solid at it. Minimum, like you're making like 2 percentage points gains, like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%. Like you're crushing. Results out there, all risk disclaimer, stuff like that. You have to do due diligence, you have to do really, but like basically, once you learn what I have to teach you, it's all right there for the taking. With investing like Forex, like these currencies that are traditional currencies that are not cryptocurrencies, and I'm not going to draw any of these on this board because I don't think they're worth it. These currencies might move like 0.2% or 0.1% or 0.11% or 0.3% or 0.4% or 0.5%. And the expectation is that you're going to withdraw like $10,000 in loans or margin so that you can trade on leveraged money and try to like make a ton of money by like trading 1,000 times the amount of money that you actually have, or 100 times the amount of money that you actually have. And that's risky as heck, because if you lose it, you're losing money that's not yours. You're losing debt. And if you trade it with your own money, you're only gonna make a couple of, like a very, very, like 0.5%. Like I would much rather make 80% than 2%, or 0.1%, or 1%. Like there's just not as much growth, there's not enough money there. And you can get into those markets once you master the 3 core assets. But until then, in every single situation I've seen, looking at literally hundreds of new investors' investment portfolios and the decisions that they make, and the real savings they want to create, the retirements they want to create, for every single person I've ever met, it makes 1,000 times more sense to invest in one of these 3 core assets than almost any other asset market on the planet, with the exception of bar none. It all comes down to these 3 core assets. So, with that said, cryptocurrencies, you're going to learn so much more about this in the implementation program. I didn't really talk too much about it in the book, just because I want you to really, really understand technical analysis. I want you to really, really understand how to trade stocks really, really well. I want you to understand core asset number 1, which is stocks, before we get into cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are a little more risky, a little more volatile, a little more, you got a lot more upside. Like, holy crap, you have a lot more upside. Some of my best returns have been in the crypto markets. But there's also a little more risk. It's a lot more speculative, right? And so before we get into those markets, you really need to master investing in stocks first. So that's why you go through the book first, you go through the implementation program first, and then, only then, once you're investing in stocks, you're crushing it in stock, do we actually slowly shift into cryptocurrencies, the second core asset. And so this is really going to leverage all the same skills that you're using in long-term investments. And you're going to have, you're going to have long-term investments, you're going to have swing trades. Again, looking like a week, you're looking at a month, maybe a year. Usually about a month in crypto, maybe a year. I've had some swing trades in crypto for a year, and they yield a couple thousand%. So it works out pretty well. And then long-term stuff is very obvious. Like you're going to hold stuff for the next 5, 10 years. Like basically the same with other paper assets in equity markets, but it's a totally different financial market. And some of you guys, you're probably very familiar with the humongous runs that occur over and over and over and over again in cryptocurrency markets. And basically, like the big thing I compare them to, and I've seen this happen, like because I was literally in it, like in real time, making hundreds of thousands of dollars, losing tons of money. Like I see this with my own eyes. It's basically like the 1990s of like the internet technology bubble, but it's like the entire 1990s. Like the amount of growth that happened in the 1990s, those you don't know, the market just freaking exploded in the 1990s, and you'll learn more about that at 9 to noon. It's basically like this entire decade of the growth that actually occurred in the technology space in a span of about 6 months at a time. So it's all this compressed to just this little tiny span of about 6 months or so. It happens over and over and over and over again in the crypto markets. And when this happens, there is so much money to be made. It's insane. It's ludicrous. In the financial markets, in the asset space. But you have to master this stuff before you get into this stuff. If you don't, you can get screwed. A lot of people lost a lot of money, including myself, because I didn't fully master, this was years and years and years ago, you got to fully master the core of stocks first before you get into trading cryptocurrencies. And then once you do get into trading cryptocurrencies, like I said, it's freaking amazing. You trade whatever you want, and a lot of the returns are very, very highly scaled multiples of what you would get with traditional stocks. Not necessarily with 9 to noon stock, but with normal stocks, normal swing trades, you get maybe an 8%, 10%, 20%, 30% movement. With crypto, like these things move 40% a day. It's insane. They go hundreds of percent. I literally had a position in crypto, but at 3,000% in 6 hours. I made the investment 4 days prior. It was insane. It was literally like, I woke up and I like fainted almost. It was berserk. And so you've got a lot more roadmap later. You gotta know what you're doing before you get into it. And so that's why I'm gonna very, very, very carefully guide you through it with the implementation coaching program, right? So that's the core, that's the financial market side of crypto. Now most people, that's all they know about crypto, and they're just like, oh, you buy it, it goes up. And they know that there's more than just like Bitcoin, right? It's like literally thousands of these currencies that you can trade, which is awesome. But there's this one other side of crypto markets that for me has been a really, really big profit hog. And it's something that I don't see a lot of people talking about. In fact, I honestly think that I see less people talking about this investment vehicle then I do like there are probably more people that are talking about like credit spreads or like these really complicated option trades, which again you'll learn about in the options masterclass. But they're just these really complicated trades that like basically make sense in like 1% of situations ever. And I see more people talking about that than I do people talking about this other aspect of cryptocurrency investing. And what's cool is with this kind of with this investment, with this second core sort of distinction, you can do this wherever you live, right? It doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter where you come from. There's obviously some more stuff to learn about it, but in reality, like this other investment vehicle, this other core asset that's derived from cryptocurrencies, it doesn't actually require any technical skills or any knowledge whatsoever. Like you could totally ignore everything that I teach you in the first part of the implementation coaching program, where you're learning about mindset, you're learning about implementation, we're learning about coaching, you're learning about how to build your mind to prepare yourself for wealth, and then obviously afterwards you're going through the actual stocks, you're going through the actual equities, you're going through the actual setup, you're going through the actual financial arts, you're going through how to actually implement what's in 9 to create a phenomenal return. You can totally ignore all of that, and you can still do what this is. So what this is very underrated. No one talks about it. It's called mining, right? And so you're gonna learn so much more about the crypto part of the implementation program. But this is something I've been doing for a couple of years now, and it's really cool. Like instead of going out and buying a house, instead of going out and putting down like $100,000 or getting a loan for $100,000 to go buy a house, you can take any kind of money that you want in increments of about $1,000. This is a small startup cost. And you can build this little machine in your house, your basement, or wherever. And this little machine, or maybe you can build this machine somewhere else. You can have other people build this machine for you. Like there's a bunch of different ways to do this, and you're gonna learn all about these different ways in the coaching program. Basically, like it's a little machine, and you just build this like really powerful computer, or you just get it all in one little computer by itself. You just get it pre-built. You don't have to do anything, and basically you invest. For me, about $4,000, you do more and more. You do the first one, then you do the second one, then you do the third one, and all you have to do is build more and more. And if you want to have higher returns, you just build more of these little machines. And for me, these machines are making $40 a day, right? And so when you look at something like that, like you're taking an investment that's basically gonna, you're gonna get all of your money back within about a year, about 12 months. So it's not typical, can't guarantee anything, crap like that. You're knowing more about this in so much more detail than I can ever share with you in this little video right here. Basically, put in this upfront investment, and you don't have to start. You can start with literally as little as a couple $100. You put in this upfront investment, and then you get this little dividend paid out to you every single day for the rest of your life. Basically, what these computers are doing is they're mining cryptocurrencies. They're supporting the actual underlying blockchain technology. And again, very, you don't have to worry about what actually happens here. You're going to learn a whole lot more about it in this coaching program and a fundamental level of what you actually need to know to make money with it. But it's very simple. You put in, X much money, you build this giant machine, you hook this machine up to cryptocurrency markets, and every single day you get paid X much money back. Depends on the market, depends on, the situations. And you just get paid every single day over and over again for running this computer. Literally just sits there and makes money for you. So it just works really well. So that's sort of the second aspect of building a cryptocurrency asset. You can build this mining for you. You can build these computers that just sit there all day and make money for you. And it's like very similar returns to real estate. Like with real estate, for most of the investors I've spoken with, they make a return on their investment within about 7-8 years. They'll get all their money back in about 8 years. With these, you make an investment, and you get all your money back, usually within about a year, and then everything after that is pure profit for the rest of your life. And so, it's like investing in real estate, except you get returns 8 to 10 times faster, and depending on the market, everything shifts, but it just works really well. So, that's a really big part of crypto investing that I'm really excited to share with you. I can't go too deep into it right now just because we'd be here all day. And so that's why there's an entire section on this. There's an entire, literally, I created a course for this that I probably would sell on its own for like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 because I literally know that you take the information and make 6 figures just like doing this and doing nothing else except for this and only investing in a mining asset. And I put that in the implementation coaching program for you, which is super exciting. So you can do this too. And it's cool because when you trade 9 to noon, there's a whole nother 12, 13, 14 hours in the day where you can just kind of do whatever you want. And for some of you guys, it might be relaxing on vacation, just doing freaking nothing. Some of you guys might be going to school. Some of you guys might be doing work. Some of you guys, it might be investing in asset number 3 we're going to talk about, which are business assets. Some of you guys might be investing in swing trades, putting a lot of time in swing trades. Honestly, like putting more than 5 hours a day in the market, for me, it yields nominal returns. But for some people I know, they spend all their time doing long-term investments. They love it. And if you love it, that's phenomenal. This, I found, is a really, really, really great way to keep on building assets. If you're interested in expanding your portfolio, diversifying your portfolio, getting more income streams, and most significantly, like really having access to what most people wouldn't actually focus on as a potential asset. Like this is a really, really under-tapped market, and also high growth market, because again, you're in this new space of like blockchain, cryptocurrency, stuff like that. So really, really, really great way to invest in crypto without necessarily taking all the risk. Really, it's a huge mindset shift when you get into this kind of technology. It's a lot different than just investing purely in the actual asset, or just investing purely in the actual like tokens, the coins, just like stocks, right? Tokens, coins. It's a little bit of mindset too, and it's just really, really, really powerful and a great way to sort of scale up those investments over time. And so that's sort of, there's sort of, 2 core parts in cryptocurrency investing. The first part is obviously long-term swing trading and intraday trading. And then the second core part is investing in this mining technology. So what's cool is as you go through the implementation coaching program, you're going to understand and get access to every single piece of investment education you need on the planet. For someone who's been doing it for literally years, and like this is like all I do is just building assets. All I want to do every single day is wake up and build assets. Like, what do you think I'm doing right now? What do you think you're looking at right now? You're looking at somebody who's going through stage 3, not stage 3. Stage 3 is building a business, right? What do I do right now? Building business. All I want to do every day is build assets. Because if you build enough assets when you're starting off in life, like all of a sudden, it becomes exponentially easier to do exclusively what you desire later in your life because you put in all this work up front that yields all this cash for the rest of time over and over and over again. This is the kind of thing you set this up once and you're like golden. And it's going to pay you forever, for the rest of your life. And so that's the key, right? Like that's the power of assets. Is you put in a lot of upfront work, and you give a lot of upfront time, a lot of upfront energy, a lot of upfront opportunity goes into actually building the asset. But then it lasts for the rest of your life. How long do you think a book lasts? Like, copyright on a book is like, I have to die, and then people have to wait 75 years for it to get in the public domain. Like, I'm not going to die anytime soon, I promise you that. And that shows the power of investing in assets. And so that's just why I'm like just so intent and passionate about what I'm going to teach you in the implementation coaching program and in the book and in I Do It and in everything that you're going to get access to. Because it all comes down to building assets. So those are the first 2 key core secret assets. You got cryptocurrency and the second one, and the first one is like probably the dream one, the one that's super flashy, the one that everyone loves, which is of course stocks. I love it. It's amazing. Changed my life forever. And really, like, it's cool because like there's a logical process, a logical order, a logical sequence that I want to take you through the implementation coaching program. And that logical sequence, it revolves around getting really, really, really great at stocks in a very, very short period of time, in a very condensed educational learning environment, and then applying that into cryptocurrencies when you're ready, so you can actually like scale and grow, get tons more money. Because again, with crypto, like you put as much money you want into stuff, and it's all based on your own investment, your own trades. And then once you get done through that, once you go through that section of it, then you're going to get into it's one of those popular lifelong things, but it's not the one you want to start on. It's kind of difficult to start with core asset number 3, which is business asset, right? Business asset. This, you've got a little bit of a higher sharp, actually got a little bit higher of an investment, a little bit more work that actually has to go into sort of creating this investment. I'll sort of give you an example. When I was growing up, my parents, I was about 0 years old, and they decided that they were going to buy some land, and they spent probably about 3 or 4 years, and all they did was they built this giant, like this huge like restaurant. They built this restaurant. And my dad, he was working, selling bonds at a financial firm, and my mom, she was a lawyer at the time, and they decided to pool their investments, their vehicles, decided to invest in a business. And for basically the first like 15 years, 10 years of my life, like my entire life revolved around my parents who were running this restaurant, were running this business. And I was like growing up on the sidelines. It was really interesting because what I saw was one of the things I don't think a lot of people are able to see. A lot of people, they see a restaurant, they see a business, they see people that are like, they have this really big business act and think, wow, these guys must be crushing. They must be doing phenomenal. They're probably amazing. And what was really interesting is, some of you guys know these financial markets, right? Like in 2008, there was this huge crash, and everyone was freaking out. And then, especially in real estate, like until 2012, like everything was really, really harsh. The economy was very, it was hard. And if you're doing long-term investments, that was when you would see sort of a stagger in your portfolio. If you're doing active trading, this is where you probably make like an insane amount of money, and you would make so much money, it's insane. But you gotta know what you're doing, right? You need to learn about it. And so, because most people didn't know what they were doing, they didn't learn about it, like what happens, people had less and less and less and less and less and less and less money. And it was hard because my parents, they started this in, like I said, about 2002, 2001 when I was born, 2001, 2002. And they running this. And what happened is the net margin in their business for the entire period here was like 6 or 7, 8%, right? And they were making a very, 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 very small amount of money, transacting literally millions and millions of dollars in restaurant, selling food. But they had to pay for the food, they had to pay for the land, they had to pay for the employees, they had to pay for the actual people that would come and fill up the kegs, fill up the gas, fill up the back shelf, and put in the kitchen stove, put in the countertop, they would put in the system, they put in the cash register, put in the landscaping. Like there were so many expensive, all these very, very expensive things, and they had to put all this money up front. And they had to put it all in up front. Like they had to put in so much to actually get the place built from scratch. They had to put in so much to actually get employees in the door on the first day. They had to put in so much to actually even try to have a chance, a glimpse of revenue. I remember they would literally spend like 80 hours a week working on this restaurant. It was making them extraordinarily small amounts of money. And they might take like a salary out of it. It's like a couple $100,000. But what happened is over time, they started having so much less money that they were literally running it into the ground. The net profits were virtually nothing. And a decade of the work that they had done, almost instantaneously, within a week, they had an auctioneer come in. The auctioneer came, and within a week, they sold every single piece of electronics, like the grill tops, the furniture, the stoves, the kitchen, the bar, like everything that had any amount of value. Within a week, was sold by this auctioneer. Things they bought for literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, $10,000, were being sold for like pennies on the dollar. It was insane. Humongous losses everywhere. They lost almost everything. Their employees were stealing from them. Their workers were stealing from them. Their vendors were stealing from them. And they destroyed everything in this very, very small amount of time. And very, very, very quickly, everything that they've been working on was gone. And at the end of this humongous period of time, a freaking decade, they made a sum total of relatively close to the sum of $0. And they put in so much money over here. And the restaurant was making literally millions and millions and millions of dollars a year. But at the end of the day, they weren't actually making any money. And very, very shortly after this happened, my dad left, and then, within a year, they were divorced, and that was probably almost, 9 years ago, 10 years ago. Long time ago. It's a decade ago. But this happened when I was growing up, and I saw this happening. I was a very young kid at the time, and I didn't really understand it until I was growing up, and I was asking my parents, what actually happened to that restaurant? What did you guys actually do? Where did this come from? Because now, basically, they're just working as employees of other people, and they're no longer really, in any means, actively managing their own assets. They don't have crypto. They don't have very, very actively managed stocks by any means. My dad's got a couple of swing trades. He's doing pretty freaking well because I'm helping him out. And I'm like, yo, dude, you gotta get into stocks and crush it. And then he doubles his money anyway. But for them, they've totally alienated themselves from business assets because there's two games you can play when you get into business assets. Now, the first game is sort of the more traditional way, right? The traditional way is traditional. You put up tons of upfront money. You put in all this effort, put in all this energy, and you risk you risk almost, for my parents, it was almost everything that they had. You risk almost everything. For the chance that you can make a teeny amount of money. For them, they were making literally fractions of what the business brought in. It was awful. They were working so hard to do it, and they couldn't even make that work. Because they were starting to put the wrong kind of business asset. Some of you guys might know, I worked, when my first job there was in Subway. Worked there for about a year, and as you guys know, my boss was super cool guy, but he was kind of he let me work over the legal limit, but he was really, just not the nicest guy on the planet. So, like I said, almost every coworker I worked with left because they could not stand my boss. They got to the point where I would work literally open to close, completely alone. And that was the point where I realized I've got to figure out the stock stuff. I've got to figure out this investing. I need to change everything by getting into financial work. I need to take control of my financial future because there's no way I want to live like this ever again. And so what's interesting is, as you guys know, I spent probably about half a year just learning. Every moment I had to learn about investing, learn about how to actually get into these investments and how to really outperform. And I had a point where I think some of my first investments, they were really big winners, some of my first investments were really big losers, but I was able to understand what the heck was going on, and then able to turn that into diamond trade, turn that into 9 million investing, and then just absolutely crush it, make more than I could have ever made in Subway. That took a long time, but once I really went all in the stock market, and I turned in my 2-week notice, I quit my job, left school, trade stocks, the summer break or whatever, and went to trade stocks full time. Within, I'd say about a month and a half of me leaving, that Subway I was working at, and this was obviously a little bit later, it's not 2012, that Subway I was working at, they closed. And the owners of it, they owned about 3 franchises in the area. But the difficult thing is hard traditional business models are tough because you're focusing a lot on other people. You don't have a lot of control so much over your performance. And you have a lot of expenses. If you don't have people working, I remember the people I worked for, they would literally work 80 hours a week in these stores trying to run them because no one worked for them. No one, they didn't make enough money to pay anybody anything. Like I said, for minimum wage, literally, for me, it was I was super young, so it was totally legal for me to be working as long as I was. But we're gonna keep that on low key. Okay. The key though is normal businesses are freaking hard, and most people don't succeed because when they invest in a business asset, what they're really doing is they're investing in their own job, they're investing in their own, their own cage. They put themselves in, and then all of a sudden, instead of having an asset, it's just a business. And they're trapped in it. And so that's not the goal. That's not what we want to do as 90 new investors. You want to do what? You want to create assets that are going to pay you over and over again. And so that's where we get into this shift where going from a traditional business model into sort of online business assets. And what's cool about this is you risk almost nothing and you have the ability to make tons of money. And so some of you, I do this a lot basically, but I've got companies there where I would literally start them with nothing more than some sort of plan. And me, myself, and I'll go out and find co-founders, I'll find employees that I know can help execute this overarching plan. This is how I started my first company, Bananas. I put up literally $0. I got a piece of paper, and I found this co-founder, and I said, look, this is the idea for the company. Do you want to work on it? And he's like, sure. And I'm like, okay, here's 5%. Go build this thing. And over the next year, all the work came back. More and more people, more growth came from literally $0. This is what most people call bootstrapping, right? And you're looking at creating 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 figures revenue with significantly less personal investment of your time, significantly less personal investment of your money, almost nothing in some situations. Where and I would say nothing, but a very there's probably a couple grand to start with just because there's actual things you need to get. But it's much less than traditional business. You're risking you're risking maybe a couple grand. And so obviously this is why I started third core asset, because there are startup costs involved with business assets just by the nature of tools that you're gonna need. But it's so cool because there you go. Once you master business assets, what's cool is like you create an entity that's totally outside of you. By the way, there are some huge tax benefits to all this, and I'm really excited. One of my favorite things to talk to you guys about in the 9 New Implementation Coaching Program is once you get to like business tax. Business tax is really interesting because most people, they have income, they have money that they make, and then basically what happens is the IRS comes and the IRS takes their cut of your money and they take it away to their IRS land, and then you get the rest. And so it kind of sucks because you lose a lot of your money. And if you got to pay taxes, like that's a good problem to have. But what's cool is with business is you make a bunch of money, and then what you do is you spend whatever you need to spend, and only after you spend whatever you need to spend, you have that little bit left over, or whatever's left over, only then does the IRS tax you. So instead of making, say, $1 million, and the IRS takes like half of it, make $1 million, okay, and then you make like half of it go away. And how can you do that? How can you do that? Like you're gonna learn, oh my god, so much more about this in the implementation program. Like I can literally be here all day talking about taxes because it's phenomenal. But basically, like almost anything that you can think of that you can use for your company, you can use for your business, you can use for any kind of, like it doesn't have to be like an actual, like Moneris is like a legitimate national company. But you can have like a personal brand, you have a personal company, like what I'm doing right now. Like I've got books, I've got seminars, right? I've got courses, like all this content, right? This is a totally separate business. We invest literally almost no money at the beginning to get massive amounts of upside. And so if I need to invest in new technology, if I need to invest in a flight to New York, if I need to invest in a new laptop, if I need to invest in business lunch with a business colleague or something, like that's totally tax deductible. And obviously we're going to get deeper into this as we start to get into the implementation coach program, just because the nature of tax law is a little bit more intricate than I can kind of get into right now. Basically, like it's insane. Like you can literally spend in the current tax code, if you have a trip to like Hawaii for 2 weeks and you spend 2 hours of that trip doing any kind of business whatsoever, you can deduct the entire trip as a business expense. You can get your new Lamborghini and only use it for business, right? I mean, there are some very fine intricacies that you need to work through, and that's why, like, I have the full training program for it. But like the core here starts with actually understanding business assets and making businesses not the illusion, like not to take a lot of money at the beginning, but instead businesses where you put in a little bit of effort at the beginning and it pays you dividends for the rest of your life. And you can surround yourself with people that will, if you guys want Shark Tank, love it, it's amazing. They talk about the idea of like, grape versus a watermelon. You want to surround yourself with people that are going to build your business into a watermelon, and then own like freaking 30, 40, 50, 60% of that watermelon, and let everybody else do all the work for you. It's a huge mindset. It's a huge game changer. And that's why it's sort of one of the third core assets, one of the third that we're going to get into in the implementation program, because it's sort of one of the deeper ones that you're going to do. It's one of the more like intricate, like it's like trading stocks, like at least for me and for everyone that I teach, like trading stocks, trading crypto, and managing financial assets, like that's like I've been working literally for years of my life to make that a very, very simple learning process. And then the essence is kind of like that next level of growth, that next level of development. Almost every single person I know who has a bank account with over $100 million in it got a vast majority, a bulk of their money from business assets. They did it by creating a business, and then either they sell it or they just create a ton of money from it. And one of us sold to freaking Tyson Foods for hundreds of millions of dollars. Why? It's because they built an asset that somebody else wanted to buy. Nobody wanted to buy the Subways that my boss worked. Nobody wanted to buy my parents' restaurants. It literally sat vacant for 6 to 8 years. That restaurant, after they closed it, sat vacant for 6 years. And only about a year ago did they ever update it. I think it might have been closer to 8 years. And now it's a freaking mattress store because nobody wanted it. Why? Because it wasn't a quality business asset. And yet there are business assets you sold for hundreds of millions of dollars. There are business assets that generate hundreds of millions of dollars. Where do those come from? They come from using the correct online business asset model. And so that's something you're going to learn a whole lot more in the implementation coaching program, which is just phenomenally exciting because it's a total game changer. It takes you away from what most people see as the traditional market where you have to risk everything and do everything. Like that's what most people think about investing too. They're like, oh, you made 500%, you must have risked everything. And I'm like, no, actually, I only risked like 8 to 10%. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal. And like, you make 200%, you must risk everything. I'm like, no, actually, you only risk like 2 to 4%. It's not that big of a deal. And so what I want to show you is how to drastically increase your upside and outperform 99% of investors, make tons of money, while radically limiting your downside to almost nothing. Now, obviously, nothing's guaranteed, but really, this is the core. This is the big game that we're playing, where you want to have tons and tons of opportunity and a very small amount of risk. And that really is the name of the game with any asset you're investing in. You always want to have significant upside and very minimal downside. And honestly, that's the core. That's the secret behind these 3 core assets. Is every single one of them, every derivative of each of them, and every subsector of each of them that you're going to learn in depth, in complete and total training, implementation coaching program with the 90 Members Era, 90 Secrets. It all comes down to building quality assets, and that's the dream. That's the goal. And these are the sort of the 3 core assets that you're going to learn, you're going to go through the implementation coaching program. It all comes down to these core assets, which is really powerful. Because once you master literally one of these, like, it's gonna take you to this next level that's so much higher than you could. Like, honestly, when I got really good at stocks, like literally, I was like in awe after my first 2 weeks of investing. I was like paralyzed with joy, glee, and delight, like surprise, because everything in my life shifted. It was just huge change, just giant epiphany. Like, holy crap, financial markets are amazing, and it changed absolutely everything. And then you got that second epiphany where like you transition from stocks and cryptocurrency, like, oh my god, that's amazing, that's insane. And you guys are so much more that's out there you could have ever dreamed of before. Then that next stage comes with business growth, and then throughout all of this, you have this massive recurring. So like, it's not just the assets. You get to this point right here where you're starting your first business, you're like, oh my gosh, this is doing insane, it's doing amazing. You're getting returns here 10x when you invest with very minimal downside. And you're going to learn how to do that, especially through marketing, especially through the funnels, but everything we're talking about in the business sector. It all comes down to grow. Everything goes up and up and up. And that's the mission. That's the message. That's what I want to take you through, is that to freaking crush it with assets that will perform for you. And that's the message. That's the goal, and that's the huge mission. So that's really the core. Those are the 3 core assets. And everything going to be charged so much cheaper in the implementation program, in the implementation coach program, in the weekly Become a Millionaire program. That's all you need, or 8 doubles. All you need, maybe it's 9 doubles, 10 doubles, like at the most. But if you just double any of these 3 core assets, honestly, all 3 of these can make you 6, 7, 8 figures. When you combine them together with all the extra time you have, really the core, just pick one, focus on it. But we're going to start on is stocks, because that's really the best one to start with. And then it goes through. So I cannot tell you how excited I am, because I know you're going to get to the mail, and it's going to totally change your life. I cannot wait. So with that said, what's cool is you've already requested your copy, you've got everything set, you are literally an A game, you're ahead of almost 99% of investors on the planet, you're absolutely crushing it, and that's really exciting, that's phenomenal. Now what's cool is you're automatically going to get, like, because you got your copy of 9 to noon, and hopefully you got some more courses with this, because I know all the other courses that you have the option to master, like, they are total game changers. Like, I just couldn't go into everything today, but really, we looked at 3 core assets today. We looked at 3 core, like, ways to grow your wealth, no matter where you're starting. What's interesting is every single thing that we talked about today actually stems from relationship assets, actually stems from clear, overarching, long-term purposes, missions, goals, investments. And so, like, what's interesting is with businesses, or with stocks, or with crypto, like anything you're investing in, these investments are only scaled when you start to really master the relationship assets that you have with other people, right? Now, in the implementation program, all I'm going to teach you, because I think it's the most important part, is how to build these 3 core assets and how to absolutely crush it with the wealth you can create with these core assets. But what's really critical is if you got, the Comprehensive and Influence People seminar, I definitely want you to always be applying the relationship asset skills, because these are game changers. If you got sort of the audio to know, like, relationship assets changed my life in investing, especially with stocks. Like, they opened up doors and gateways to assets and vehicles and stocks and ideas that I would have never found out on my own. by listening to other people. The cryptocurrencies, they were total game changers by first of all revealing the market to me in the first place due to the connections I already had, and then second of all, actually allowing me to scale, and make literally like, oh my, it's insane how many zeros you can add to your bank account by leveraging the tools, the insights, the relationships you have with others, and turn those into actual quality performance real world assets. And then of course, like with businesses, and this is all really like so much business relationships. Like I literally have business partners I've met, and like they're like trading algorithms, and they're trying to like figure out how to build like options investing traded things, algorithms. And I'm like, dude, that is so cool. Why don't you come over here and we'll work on this together? It was so interesting because I remember this one guy, and you know, look at him, and I'm staring at him, and I smile at him. What's so interesting about a smile is it will alienate people that are negative, and it will attract people that are positive. And he was one of the most positive people I know. He looked at me, I smiled at him, he smiled at me for about 5 seconds. He came, he sat down, and he said, hey, what's your name? And we talked for an hour and a half. And from that conversation, we created a business plan to create about 5, 6, 7 figures in recurring revenue in this couple of years. Really simple as a partnership, as a team, as a business asset together because of social skills behind it. And I don't care if you're working alone, I don't care if you're working with other people, I don't care if you're working for other people. Like social skills, like they're game changers. They will leverage and they will explode every single thing that you do when you're building assets or when you're investing in yourself, when you're actually just creating income by a factor of 100. It's not even questionable the difference you can create with others versus by yourself. It's so minimal compared to what you can do with others in any aspect, which is really critical. So definitely make sure that you're powering through that. Now what's cool is also, since you've got 90 Noon, you're getting a ton of bonus courses completely for free instantly, not like a week by week with the implementation program. So definitely make sure that you master those courses. Those courses are going to give you the core, the foundation for getting into the first core asset, which is of course stocks, equities, the real financial markets. And it also applies to crypto too, which is really useful. So you're going to get all that for free as bonuses. All you have to do, it's really simple. It's part of the members area. So just make sure you create your account. You should need that account to access the implementation coaching program. Which again, you're going to get a program, you're going to get a module every single week. And the goal with it is not to like overwhelm you with so much information. You could never use it in your life. Like that's not my objective. My objective is to give you enough information, you can apply enough information, you can learn enough information, you can create new habits. But not so much that you're just going crazy and you have no clue what's going on. And so I've sort of parsed it up and really intricately decided like what should be in this week and what shouldn't be in this week. What should be in the program at all and what absolutely 100% needs to be in the program. And so I want you to understand that this is a very carefully planned process that I'm here to take you through and walk a lot more through that process in week 2 of the coaching program. But really, it all comes, with mindset, mentality, which again, we're going to start with week 1, and which you should definitely get started instantly because week 1 is going to be unlocked instantly, along with all the bonuses that you got, along with the Win Friends and Influence People seminar, if you got that, and Think Grow Rich Masterclass, if you got that. Like, Think Grow Rich Masterclass is so critical, so key for all of this to work. Like, when I think about it, I think, the base of everything, and the foundation of everything, the bottom of everything, these are the relationship assets, right? And then these relationship assets, they're created to facilitate the 3 core assets, right? So you can actually build the 3 core assets. And then at the top, this is where you're going towards, right? This is like your objective, this is your motivation, this is your positioning, this is your long-term goal, this is your actual purpose. And that's where you start to get into like the Think and Grow Rich territory right there. And they're all right there for you. They're all right there for you. It's really critical that you understand sort of every aspect of this because it's taking you on this journey, and it all kind of depends on getting the right education at the beginning, so that like you have everything, which is really cool. Because now you have this book, which is going to change your life. It's going to be awesome, and you're going to get all this extra additional course, all this extra training alongside, which is really powerful. So with that said, I really just am so excited for you because there's so much content for you to dive into in the members area. It will literally change your life, and it's just so exciting. So thank you again for ordering your copy. I cannot wait to get out to you. I know it's going to be wherever you are very soon. I really appreciate it, and I cannot wait now that you have access to the actual weekly Become a Millionaire implementation coaching program as part of 90 Noon Secrets. This stuff literally is game changing, and I don't want to just tell that to you anymore. I want you to actually get the results. I want you to have success and actually become that next testimonial which is really the whole goal. Like the reason I do any of this, it's not like money. Like, dude, if I want to make money, all I would do is trade stocks. Like, and then I would just like chill. I would do nothing ever, or I would build my business. Probably I'd focus on Monero a lot more. A couple of other businesses that are more like global. Like I get $1 million by land client. Like the reason I do what I do, like you guys know, I literally lose money sending you this book. And the reason I do that is because if you guys got Think Grow Rich Masterclass, I'll tell you about my overarching launch, I'll tell you about my secret formula, and the core, the pinnacle of that, I'm not going too deep into it because it's pretty freaking personal. That's why it's part of the course. Is to create real savings and retirements for masses of people. And so this book, like what I wanted to do is I wanted to give this alongside with the implementation coaching program. I wanted to give anybody in America the ability to get access to quality financial education, real savings and retirements for literally less than a penny an hour, less than an hour of minimum wage. You guys know when I was starting, I probably would have invested more than $7 in a book. And I know that if I did invest $7 in a book like this years and years and years ago, it would have easily been worth 7 figures to me. But I didn't. So I want to give you the opportunity to do that. Because I know that if I can do that for you, I can do that for you, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again. I give you tons of value. There's no chance you'll ever leave. You get so much from this. And so, with that said, I literally cannot express how excited I am to do this book. It's going to change your life. Like, it's so exciting. So yeah, that's the core, that's the basis, that's the foundation. Those are the 3 core assets. And obviously you're using relationship assets to facilitate everything, and you're using Think Grow Rich, sort of have that overarching purpose. And really those 3 things, they changed everything for me. And they will continue to change everything for the next couple of decades, next 50 years, next 100 years of my life. I mean, everything shifts once you understand, and everything comes down to assets. So with that said, we get a ton of value out of this additional special training. Like I said, there's nothing you have to do. You're already part of the 90 new members area, the special implementation coaching program. Just create your account below, and then just click the link, create your account, and you should get instant access to everything that you purchase, or you get access to the opportunity to purchase things. But really, it's just the courses, and it's just the implementation coaching program. That's the big thing. The big thing is the implementation coaching program, and that's what you're going to get every single week. So definitely make sure you mark on your calendar when you bought or when you got your copy, snag your copy 9 to noon, because that's sort of when every single week the next module for the implementation program is going to come out. It's going to come out exactly 1 week from right now. So you're going to start week 1 right now, then you'll have a week to apply week 1, you start week 2 right a week from now, you'll be able to apply week 2, you're going to start week 3 a week from now, you'll be able to apply week 3, and so on and so forth. And again, your first month will be free, and afterwards there's so much more information on it in the actual program. So really the next steps here are just to create your account, and you should be solid, because now you know the basics, now you know the background, now you know why I'm so passionate about everything sharing with you. It all comes down to assets. And now you know the 3 core assets that we're really going to dive deep into to create massive amounts of wealth, no matter where you're starting with, no matter how much money you're starting with, no matter your limitations on time, energy, investment capital. None of that matters, because you can overcome anything with the insane power of financial markets and quality assets. So with that said, thank you so much. I'm so excited. Cannot wait for you to get your book, and I'm very excited now to give you instant access to the back-end implementation coaching program and all the other courses that you got access to. So with that said, thank you guys so much. Hope you got a ton of value from it. Go out there,